The alien girl sat in the wheelchair watching everyone play until a human came and smiled at her. The amber sky hung low over Aurora Haven, painting the colony in warm hues as thrusters hummed and folks darted between domes. This moon, terraformed and orbiting a swirling gas giant, 12 light-years from Earth, pulsed with life. Humans and aliens bartering goods, fixing rigs, keeping the place from falling apart. Adam Mercer dropped to one knee by the water recycler, its low buzz vibrating through his tools scattered on the dusty ground. At 38, he'd swapped battlefield chaos for this steady work, wrench in hand, tightening valves with practiced twists. His eyes flicked up, catching sight of Nova across the schoolyard. The 10-year-old Varyan girl sat still in her hover wheelchair, blue skin catching the light, silver eyes tracking the chase of a glowing ball among the kids. Laughter rang out from the group, but she stayed put, fingers twitching slightly on the armrests. Adam paused his work, grease smearing his palms as he stood. He grabbed a spare ball from his kit, its soft glow pulsing, and strode over, boots kicking up faint dust clouds. "Hey, wanna play?" He held it out, voice warm but testing, like stepping onto thin ice. Nova's head tilted, surprise flashing in those silver eyes. Then a smile tugged at her lips, shy and real. She reached for the ball, and as it bounced lightly in her grasp, a laugh escaped, soft, then building. Weeks since she'd let one out. The other kids skidded to a halt, glancing over. Then one shouted, "Come on, join us!" Cheers followed as Nova hovered forward, the ball sailing between them in arcs of light. Adam watched from the side, arms crossed, a small nod to himself as the game picked up pace. Night fell quick on the moon, the gas giant looming large overhead. Adam hunkered down in his workshop, a cramped space crammed with parts and wires, the hollow lamp flickering shadows on the walls. He unrolled paper, pencil scratching as he drew lines for hover thrusters. Small boosts to lift Nova's chair higher, stabilizers to keep it steady. Ideas flowed fast, his mind mapping circuits from old military hacks. "Yeah, this could work," he muttered to the empty room, erasing a line and redrawing it smoother. Dawn broke with the colony stirring, and Adam arrived at the yard with his upgrades ready. Nova was there early, chair humming softly as she waited. He knelt down, tools clinking. "All right, kid, let's give this a shot. These thrusters, they'll make you fly. Well, kinda." Nova's eyes widened, a giggle slipping out. "Really? Like zoom zoom?" Adam chuckled, attaching the parts with quick snaps and welds. Power surged and the chair lifted, wobbling for a tense second before steadying. Nova gripped the controls, zipping in circles, laughter echoing loud as she dodged imaginary obstacles. Selene Varys approached then, her steps light on the dust, graceful even with the lines of exhaustion around her eyes. As cultural liaison, she navigated the colony's tensions daily, but now her focus locked on Nova's joy. She stopped beside Adam, watching her daughter spin. I saw what you did. Thank you. It's more than kind." Her voice held that Varyan melody, genuine warmth breaking through. Adam rubbed his neck, glancing away briefly. No big deal. Just figured she could use a little extra speed. Kid's got spirit. Hate to see it stuck." They talked as Nova played, Selene sharing snippets of Varyan tales over the yard's noise. Adam nodding with stories of his soldier days trimmed down to the basics. The bond snuck in quiet, like gravity pulling them closer without a word. Nova hovered over, breathless. "Mom! Adam, watch this!" She looped again, pulling laughs from them both. But the ease shattered at the clinic later that day. The building's scanners whirred as the doctor examined Nova, her chair parked by the table, hollow orb in her lap projecting faint stars. Adam and Selene waited in the hall, the air thick with unspoken tension. The doctor emerged, datapad in hand, face set. "It's worsening. The nerve flares. Only Syntherium on Earth can touch it." Selene's hand flew to her mouth, a sharp breath in. "But how?" "We need to get there." Adam's jaw tightened. mind already racing through options. We'll sort it somehow, can't just sit on this. As they left, Nova hovering between them, the amber sky seemed heavier, shadows stretching long. Adam's thoughts turned to contacts, favors owed, action brewing under the calm. The next few shifts blurred with checks on the chair, Adam tweaking thrusters while Nova chattered. It's like flying a ship. But tiny, she'd say, zipping past. Selene joined more often, their talks weaving in worries about the condition. The council, they might block us, she confided one afternoon. Adam nodded, tools pausing. Yeah, figures, but hey, I've got a guy. Old pilot buddy. Might pull strings. The gas giant rose again, stars winking, as Adam fired off that message to Rook. The workshop quiet but charged. The amber glow of Aurora Haven faded as Adam led Selene and Nova through the colony's back alleys, their steps quick against the hum of distant generators. The gas giant loomed overhead, its bands of color casting faint reflections on the domes. Adam carried a small duffel with their essentials, his eyes scanning for prying looks. Nova's hover wheelchair glided smoothly, the new thrusters purring as she clutched her hollow orb, its starry glow flickering in her lap. Selene kept close, her face tight with worry but her posture steady, a mother holding the line. They reached the council chamber by dusk, a cold metallic dome that gleamed under the amber sky. Inside, Selene faced the colony officials, a panel of Varyans with sharp eyes and sharper tongues. She stood tall, hands clasped, her voice steady but edged with strain. My daughter needs treatment. Earth has the Syntherium. Please grant us the permit. The lead counselor, a Varyan named Kalis, leaned back, his silver gaze avoiding hers. Resources are limited. Protocols must be followed. His tone was flat, but something flickered behind it, something guarded. Adam lingered near the chamber's edge, catching a maintenance worker's hushed words to another. Kargath's got their claws in the council. No one leaves without their say. Adam's jaw tightened, old instincts kicking in. Kargath Syndicate. He'd heard their name in his soldier days, smugglers, manipulators, a shadow network that played dirty across star systems. He filed it away, his mind already turning to workarounds. Back at the school, under the shade of a prefab canopy, Adam knelt beside Nova's chair, checking its thrusters while she fiddled with her hollow orb. Her silver eyes flicked up to him. Are we really going to Earth? Like, for real? Adam managed a grin, tweaking a stabilizer. Yeah, kid, if the system won't help, we'll find another way. Promise. His voice carried a soldier's resolve, steady and sure, though his gut churned with the weight of it. He pulled out his comm device, scrolling to Rook Calder's name. The grizzled pilot had owed him since Adam saved his ship from pirates in a firefight off Rigel 7 years back. A quick message. Need a ride. Off the books. And Rook's reply pinged back fast. You're killing me, Mercer. All right, I'm in. But this better be worth it. Adam smirked at the sarcasm but caught the edge in Rook's words, a hint of unease he couldn't place yet. Night draped over Aurora Haven, the air cool and sharp. Adam and Selene packed light in her small apartment. Nova hovering nearby, her chair's hum blending with the colony's background drone. Selene tucked a blanket around Nova, her hands trembling slightly. I don't know how to do this, Adam. Sneaking out like criminals. He zipped the duffel, meeting her eyes. You're not criminals. You're a mom getting her kid help. I've got your back. She nodded, a faint smile breaking through, and Nova piped up. It's like an adventure, right? Like in the Hollow stories. They laughed softly, but the tension lingered. A Varyan guard patrolled the dock's perimeter, his comm buzzing as he muttered into it, his shadow stretching long under the amber moonlight. Adam spotted him from a distance, guiding Selene and Nova through the shadows to Wayfarer's berth. The cargo ship loomed ahead, a patched-up beast with 200 metric tons of hold space and a hyperdrive that groaned more than it hummed. Rook waited by the ramp, his weathered face half lit by the dock's glow. Took you long enough, Mercer? This ain't exactly a pleasure cruise, you know. Adam clapped his shoulder. Yeah, well, you owed me one. Let's move. They slipped aboard, Nova's chair gliding up the ramp as Selene kept a hand on her shoulder. The cargo bay smelled of oil and metal, crates stacked high under dim lights. Rook powered up the controls, muttering, "Hope you're ready for a bumpy ride. This old girl's got some quirks." Adam shot him a look, catching that same unease in Rook's glance, but said nothing. Nova settled in the lounge, her hollow orb casting stars across the walls. "It's like we're already in space," she said, and Selene smiled, brushing her hair back. "Almost, love. Almost." Wayfarer's thrusters roared, shaking the deck as it lifted off. The colony's dome shrank below, their glow fading into the amber haze. Adam stood by a viewport, watching Aurora Haven vanish, his fingers tapping the railing. Selene joined him, her voice low. "You think we'll make it? To Earth, I mean. Without trouble?" Adam glanced at her, then back to the stars. "Trouble's always out there, but we'll handle it." "Got no choice." She nodded, her hand brushing his arm briefly. A quiet thanks. In the cockpit, Rook punched coordinates, the hyperdrive whining as it warmed up. Adam leaned in, checking the nav screen. "Tarsus systems next, right?" "Keep it steady, Rook." Rook grunted. "Steady as she goes, soldier boy. Don't backseat drive." But his hands hesitated on the controls, just for a second, and Adam's gut twisted again. Something wasn't right, but the ship jumped, stars streaking past as they broke free of the moon's pull. Nova's chair hummed softly in the lounge, her eyes glued to the hollow orb stars. Adam crouched beside her, pointing at the viewport. "See that? That's where we're headed, kid. Big adventure." She grinned, but her hands trembled slightly, the first sign of her condition flaring. Selene noticed, her face tightening, and Adam stood, resolve hardening. They were off-world now, no turning back. The stars stretched endless ahead, but behind them the guard's comm buzzed again, a signal sent to someone waiting in the dark. Wayfarer's hull rattled as it carved through the Tarsus system's asteroid belt, jagged rocks spinning past in the void. Rook leaned over the controls, his weathered hands dodging debris with the ease of someone who'd flown through worse. The ship's lights flickered, casting shadows across the cockpit where Adam stood, arms crossed, watching the nav screen. "Keep her steady, Rook. Don't need any dents today." Rook snorted, eyes on the field. "Yeah, sure, Mercer. Like I'd let a rock take us out. Relax, will ya?" But his grip on the controls was too tight, a flicker of nerves Adam didn't miss. In the cramped lounge, Nova sat in her hover wheelchair, her blue fingers tapping a holocard game Adam had set up on a battered data pad. The glowing cards flipped with soft chimes, and her giggles cut through the hum of the engines. "Look, Adam, I got the Starship card. It's like super fast." Adam knelt beside her, grinning. "Nice one, kid. Bet you'll beat me in no time." He glanced at Selene, who sat nearby, scrolling through colony news on another data pad. Her brow furrowed, fingers pausing over reports of Kargath Syndicate ships spotted near their route. "Adam, this doesn't feel right." "Kargath? They're too close." Her voice was low, almost swallowed by the ship's hum. Before Adam could answer, a proximity alert screamed through the ship, red lights flashing across the lounge. He bolted to the cockpit. Nova's game forgotten as Selene pulled her close. The nav screen showed 3 Kargath scout ships, sleek, armed with twin plasma cannons, locking onto Wayfarer's signature, closing fast at 20,000 kilometers per hour. Adam's soldier instinct snapped awake, his eyes narrowing. "Rook, what the hell's going on? They're tracking us." Rook's face paled, his hands freezing on the controls. He turned, voice cracking. I screwed up, Mercer. Planted a beacon for Kargath. They paid me, said they just wanted the medicine. But damn it, they want the girl." Adam's fist clenched, but he grabbed Rook's shoulder, hard. "Fix this, now!" Rook scrambled, ripping open a panel under the console. A small device blinked red, its signal pulsing like a traitor's heartbeat. Adam yanked it free, crushing it under his boot. That's step one. Now we lose him. He darted to the repair bay, pulling up the ship's drone controls. His fingers flew over the interface, reprogramming the maintenance drones to emit heat signatures, decoy flares to throw off the Kargath sensors. The drones zipped out into the void, their trails glowing hot against the asteroid field. Selene appeared in the doorway, Nova hovering behind her, wide-eyed. Adam, what's happening? Are we? He cut her off, voice steady. We're handling it. Stay with Nova. Keep her calm. She nodded, guiding Nova back to the lounge, whispering, It's okay, love. Just a little detour. But her hands shook as she tucked the blanket tighter around her daughter. The ship jolted as Kargath ships fired warning shots, plasma grazing the hull. Adam braced himself, then heard the clank of boots, Kargath soldiers, boarding through a breached airlock. He sprinted to the cargo bay, slamming the override panel. Rook, seal the cockpit. Selene, stay down. He triggered the emergency depressurization, the bay doors cracking open to the void. A silent rush of air yanked the intruders out, their forms tumbling into the black, armor glinting briefly before vanishing. Adam sealed the bay, chest heaving, and ran to check on Nova. Her breathing was shallow now, her silver eyes fluttering. He knelt, scanning her vitals with a handheld med unit. His fingers brushed a faint scar at the base of her neck, a cold metallic chip embedded there. What the? He worked fast, using a micro tool to ease it out. As it came free, Nova's fingers twitched, a small gasp escaping her. Selene rushed over, eyes wide. Adam, what is that? Her voice broke as she sank beside Nova, tears spilling. They did this. Kargath. Years ago, I exposed their illegal mining on Varya Prime. This was their revenge. Adam stared at the chip, its circuits glinting like a poison seed. His jaw set, anger coiling tight. They won't touch her again. Not while I'm here. He slipped the chip into his pocket, evidence now, and turned to Rook, who stood in the doorway, guilt heavy in his eyes. I didn't know, Mercer. I swear. I'm with you now, whatever it takes. Rook's voice was raw, his usual sarcasm gone. Adam nodded once, sharp. Then get us to Earth. No more games. Rook spun back to the cockpit, punching new coordinates as the hyperdrive whined back to life. Nova stirred, her hand reaching for Selene's. Mom, I moved my fingers. Did you see? Selene sobbed, holding her tight, while Adam watched the stars streak by, his mind racing with what lay ahead. From the perspective of a Kargath pilot left behind in the asteroid field, the decoy drones still burned bright, their heat signatures fading into the dark. He cursed into his comm. They slipped us. Find that ship. Now! But Wayfarer was already gone, a faint blip hurtling toward Earth, carrying a truth that could unravel everything. Wayfarer's engines groaned as it docked at Earth's orbital station, a gleaming hub spinning 400 kilometers above the planet's blue curve. Nova pressed her face to the viewport, her silver eyes reflecting the station's lights, wide with wonder despite her weakening breaths. Adam carried her down the ramp, her hover wheelchair tucked under one arm, a thermal blanket draped over her small frame. Selene stayed close, her hand brushing Nova's as they boarded a shuttle to the surface. The craft hummed, descending through clouds to Helix Institute, its sleek towers rising from the snowy Alps like a fortress of glass and steel. Inside, the Institute's halls buzzed with automated medbots gliding on magnetic tracks, their scanners glowing softly. Adam set Nova's chair down, adjusting its thrusters as she clutched her holoorb, its starry projections dancing on the sterile walls. They met Dr. Lena Voss, the lead physician, her crisp white coat a stark contrast to her hesitant frown. We don't have protocols for non-human patients. It's policy. Her voice was clipped, professional, but her eyes darted away, uneasy. Selene stepped forward, her Varyan grace unbroken, despite the strain in her posture. She's my daughter, not a policy. Her words cut through the hum of the bots, and Adam moved beside her, his hand steady on her shoulder. Look, Doc, she needs Syntherium. You've got it here. Let's make this simple. Voss hesitated, then nodded to a technician, who ran a scanner over Nova's neck, where the chip's scar still lingered. The scanner beeped and the technician's eyes widened. This chip, it's got a Helix patent code. Ma'am, we could, study it for research. Voss's gaze sharpened, her tone shifting. Yes, the potential here is significant. Adam's jaw tightened, catching the glint of ambition in her words. He slipped the chip's data drive to Selene, who tucked it into her wristband with a quick, determined glance. From a nurse's perspective, across the room, the air felt heavy. She leaned toward a colleague, her voice barely a whisper. They're talking research again? Like those off-world experiments. Makes my skin crawl. Her hands trembled as she adjusted a tray of tools, her unease mirroring the tension building around Nova's bed. Adam kept his eyes on Voss, his soldier's instincts flaring. We're here for treatment, not your lab projects. Clear? Before Voss could respond, a new voice cut through the room. I hear you've got evidence. I can help. Agent Mira Kwan, Interplanetary Security Bureau, stood in the doorway, her badge glinting under the fluorescent lights. Her presence was like a blade, sharp and precise, cutting through the Institute's sterile calm. Adam sized her up, then handed over the chip logs, Syntherium records, and Rook's shaky testimony, recorded on a battered datapad. This goes deeper than we thought, Kwan. Kargath's involved. Maybe even Helix. Mira's eyes scanned the data, her face unreadable but focused. If this checks out, we're cracking open a nest of vipers. Stay sharp. She pocketed the drive and strode out, her boots echoing down the hall. Selene sat by Nova's side, brushing her daughter's hair, as the girl hummed softly, her hollow orb casting faint stars across the bed. Mom, it's pretty here, like the stories you told me. Selene's smile was tight, her voice soft. It is, love, and we're going to make you strong again. But her eyes flicked to Adam, worry etched deep, as snow fell outside, blanketing the Alps in silence. Adam paced the room, his mind racing. The chip's scar nagged at him, a piece of a puzzle he didn't fully grasp. He checked Nova's vitals on a med unit, the screen showing her nerve flares, stabilizing but still critical. Hang in there, kid. We're not done yet. He glanced at Rook, who lingered near the door, his usual bravado muted. I didn't sign up for this kind of mess, Mercer, but I'm here. Adam nodded, clapping his shoulder. Good, 'cause we're going to need every hand. Outside, the snow thickened, muffling the world beyond the Institute's walls. Adam caught Selene's gaze, a silent agreement passing between them. No one would turn Nova into a test subject. He moved to a terminal, pulling up schematics of Helix's systems, his fingers tracing security layouts from his old military days. If they try anything, we'll be ready. Selene nodded, her hand tightening on Nova's. Whatever it takes, Adam. For her. In a quiet corner of the Institute, a janitor mopped the floor, his ear catching whispers from a nearby boardroom. Executives muttering about Project Syntherium and off-world profits. He shook his head, uneasy, as the words faded into the hum of the building. Back in the med bay, Nova's hollow orb flickered, its stars dimming slightly as her breathing slowed. Adam watched the snow pile up outside, a storm brewing in more ways than one. As Mira's team dug deeper into the data, their findings threatening to unravel a web that stretched across the stars, Mira Kwan's team huddled in a dimly lit annex of Helix Institute, datapads glowing as they dissected the chip's code. Lines of encrypted data scrolled by, revealing threads of a conspiracy. Helix's fingerprints on Kargath's control devices implanted in the Varyan kids to manufacture patients for profit. Mira's eyes narrowed at the screen, her fingers tapping a rhythm of urgency. This isn't just revenge, it's a system. Helix funded the implants, Kargath handled the dirty work. Adam leaned against the wall, arms crossed, absorbing the implications as snow pelted the windows outside. In Nova's med bay, Adam sat by her bedside, the room's hum of monitors a steady backdrop. Her breathing evened out under the stabilizers, but her small frame looked fragile against the white sheets. He stared at the chip in his palm, its circuits cold and unyielding. I fixed machines, not people, but I can't stop now. The thought hit him like a quiet order, hardening his resolve. He pocketed it, standing as Selene entered, her steps light but purposeful. She confronted Voss in the hallway, her voice rising sharp against the sterile echo. "You built a business on my daughter's pain. How many others?" Voss glanced away, guilt flickering in her eyes like a faulty, hollow projection. It, it wasn't supposed to, but Selene cut in. "Save it. We know about Project Syntherium." Voss's face paled, her retreat quick as she muttered excuses and vanished down the corridor. From a janitor's perspective, mopping near the boardroom, the whispers seeped through the cracked door, executives debating Project Syntherium, a scheme to seed artificial illnesses across colonies for endless Syntherium sales. He paused his work, brow furrowing at the cold calculation in their tones, before moving on, the mop sloshing water that mirrored the unease pulling in his gut. Mira pulled Adam and Selene aside in a secure room, her datapad projecting a holomap of Kargath's network spanning 14 star systems. "They're smuggling Syntherium to puppet colonies. Keep folks dependent. Justice is coming, but I need more time to lock it down." Adam nodded, his mind already on defenses. "We'll hold here, but hurry, they won't wait." Selene's hand clenched, her silver eyes fierce. "For Nova and the others, make it count." Adam dove into work with Helix engineers, adapting a surgical bot in a cluttered lab. His hands moved steady, welding circuits and calibrating arms to extract chips without harm, despite the burn of sleepless nights. Tools clinked against metal, sparks flying as he tested the bot on a dummy implant. "That's it. Precision cut here. Seal there." An engineer watched, impressed. "You've got a soldier's touch for this tech." Adam grunted, wiping sweat. "Yeah, well, learn the hard way." Rook shuffled in later, guilt still shadowing his face like a persistent glitch. He volunteered for public testimony, leaning on a crate. "Guess I owe the kid that much. Can't fly away from this one." His sarcasm hit a budding loyalty, rough edges softening. Adam clapped his back. "Good call, Rook. We're in this together now." Rook smirked faintly. "Yeah, sure. Hero stuff. Don't let it go to your head." Nova's condition held steady in the med bay, her weakness easing under basic care. She sketched Earth's moon on a datapad, lines wobbly but bright. It's so pretty, like a big pearl in the sky. Adam sat nearby watching her. "You'll see it for real soon, kid. Up close." She beamed, but a cough interrupted, reminding them of the clock ticking. Selene and Adam stole a quiet moment in the hall, her hand brushing his as they leaned against the wall. "You didn't have to do this. All of it." He met her gaze, voice low. "Yeah, I did. Couldn't just walk away." A spark passed between them, unspoken but real, like circuits connecting in the dark. Mira burst in then, her face tense. "Kargath operatives are closing in, tracking the chip's signal straight to Helix. We've got hours, maybe." Adam's stance shifted, soldier mode kicking in. "Then we prep. Drones, locks, whatever it takes." Selene nodded, her resolve mirroring his. "For Nova, we fight." The Institute's alarm stayed silent for now, but the air thickened with impending storm, snow swirling outside as shadows gathered in the void beyond. Rook checked Wayfarer's systems in the docking bay, his mutters echoing off the hull. "Oh girl, don't fail me now." He rigged backup thrusters, prepping for a quick exit if things went south. Back inside, Adam mapped entry points on a terminal, fingers tracing weak spots in Helix's defenses. The chip's data, now partially unlocked, hinted at thousands affected, humans, Varyans, whole colonies ensnared. But he kept focus narrow. Protect Nova, expose the truth. Nova hummed her starry tune from the bed, her hollow orb casting faint lights. Selene sat with her, whispering stories of Varyan skies to ease the weight. Adam paused at the door, watching them, a quiet vow forming. The pieces were falling into place, but the full picture loomed just out of reach, a web ready to snap. Kargath mercenaries slipped into Helix Institute's lower levels like shadows, their pulse rifles humming low as boots thudded against sterile corridors. The airlock hissed shut behind them, sealing their entry from the snowy Alps outside. Adam caught the breach on a security feed in the control room, his fingers already dancing over panels to lock down sections. Alarms blared through the building, red lights pulsing like a heartbeat gone wrong. He rigged the maintenance drones fast, reprogramming them to flood Kargath comms with static bursts, jamming signals that turned their chatter into white noise. That'll buy us time, but not much. He muttered to himself, sweat beading as the first echoes of footsteps reached the upper halls. Selene scooped Nova from her bed in the medbay, her hover wheelchair gliding silently as they ducked into a side alcove stocked with supplies. The girl's silver eyes widened at the alarms, but Selene whispered close, "Stay quiet, love. Just like our game. Remember? Hide and seek with the stars." Nova nodded, clutching her hollow orb tight, its faint glow hidden under a blanket. Selene barricaded the door with a medcart, her hands steady despite the chaos vibrating through the walls. Blasts echoed from below, plasma scorching panels as the intruders pushed upward. From a security guard's perspective, stationed in a dimly lit junction, the scene unfolded like a bad holodrama. He gripped his stun baton, orders buzzing in his earpiece to hold position, but through a cracked door, he glimpsed Nova's alcove. The kid huddled there, innocent in the crossfire. Hesitation gripped him, torn between paycheck loyalty and that gut punch of sympathy. Can't let this happen," he whispered, then lunged at a hovering Kargath drone scouting ahead, smashing its sensors with a quick swing. Sparks flew, the drone crumpling, buying precious seconds for the others. Mira Kwan rallied her team in the main corridor, her bureau agents fanning out with tactical shields raised. Stun grenades rolled from their hands, flashing bright in the dark as concussive waves knocked mercenaries off balance. "We end this tonight," she shouted, her voice cutting through the din like a blade. Plasma fire answered, scorching the air, but her squad pressed forward, returning volleys that pinned the intruders against bulkheads. Adam joined the fray from a side vent, his soldier days flooding back as he flanked a group, hacking a door panel to seal them in. He trapped 2 mercenaries in a coolant chamber, overriding the controls with a swift code injection from his datapad. Frost bloomed on the glass as temperatures plummeted, freezing their pulse rifle circuits mid-charge. The weapons sparked and died, leaving the men pounding futilely on the door. Adam's instincts ran sharp, breath even as he moved on. 2 down, more to go. He dodged a stray shot, rolling behind a console, the heat singeing his sleeve. Outside, Rook hot-wired a stolen Kargath shuttle from the Institute's landing pad, snow whipping around as engines roared to life. He lifted off shaky, drawing enemy fire from reinforcements hovering in the storm. Laser bolts streaked past, grazing the hull with metallic shrieks. "Well, this is a terrible plan. Guess I'm the bait now," he grumbled, banking hard to lure them away from Helix, his sarcasm masking the adrenaline spike. The shuttle's shields flared under hits, but he weaved through the peaks, buying time for the ground fight. Back inside, Mira's team decrypted the chip's final layers on a secure terminal amid the chaos, data streaming across screens. It laid bare Helix's complicity. Thousands of patients, human and alien, tagged with implants to fuel a profit cycle of cures. Voss's name lit up in red, tied to off-world shipments. Mira's face hardened. This ends their game. For good. She signaled her agents to push harder, grenades rolling again as mercenaries faltered. A stray blast punched through the medbay wall, shaking the alcove where Selene shielded Nova. Debris rattled down, and Selene's arms trembled, but held firm, curling around her daughter like a barrier. "I've got you, always." Nova buried her face in Selene's shoulder, the hollow orb's stars flickering erratically. Selene peeked through the barricade, spotting Adam charging down the hall, his improvised drone swarm harrying the last intruders. The mercenaries retreated under the onslaught, boots scrambling back to breached airlocks as Mira's team closed in. She cornered Voss in her office, cuffs snapping on with a cold click. You're done. Voss slumped, her protest dying as agents hauled her away. The Institute fell silent, alarms winding down to a low whine, but the fight hung unfinished in the air. Kargath's web still sprawling beyond these walls. Adam burst into the medbay, scanning for threats before kneeling by Selene and Nova. You two okay? That was close. Selene nodded, relief washing over her as Nova peeked out. The bad guys gone? Adam managed a grin. For now, kid. Rook's still out there shaking them off. Outside, the shuttle looped back, engines smoking but intact. Rook's voice crackling over comms. Miss me? They're scattering. But don't celebrate yet. Mira regrouped in the control room, her team securing the data drives. This evidence hits the council next. Helix reforms or crumbles. Adam wiped grime from his hands, eyeing the screens where patient files scrolled endless. The scale hit hard, but he focused on the immediate. Nova's surgery loomed, the chip's remnants waiting. Selene joined them, Nova hovering close, her small hand in Adam's. The storm outside eased, snow blanketing the damage, but inside the air thrummed with unresolved tension, a promise of more to come. Helix Institute's boardroom transformed overnight into a makeshift courtroom, its polished tables now stacked with data pads and hollow projectors, casting evidence across the walls. Mira Kwan stood at the center, her bureau agents flanking her as she presented to the Interstellar Ethics Council, a mix of human and Varyan reps tuned in via secure links from across systems. She laid out the chip logs, Syntherium trails, and decrypted files with a voice steady but fierce, each slide revealing the depth of Helix Kargath ties. This isn't isolated, it's engineered suffering for profit. Thousands impacted, the council murmured, their faces grim under the room's harsh lights. Selene took the stand next, her graceful frame rigid with held-back fury as she faced the holoscreens. Her testimony cut raw, words spilling like opened wounds. They stole my daughter's body, her future, planted that chip to break her, just because I spoke up. The Varyan chair of the council leaned forward, silver eyes narrowing in a nod that spoke volumes. Visibly moved, his hand pausing over his notes. Selene's voice cracked on the last word, but she held steady, her gaze sweeping the room like a challenge. Adam watched from the back, his arms crossed, feeling the weight of her words echo in the silence that followed. In the surgical suite down the hall, Adam oversaw Nova's procedure, the adapted bot humming under his tweaks from the lab. He stood by the console, eyes locked on the monitors as the bot's arms extended, lasers precise in removing the chip's lingering fragments. Nova lay still under sedation, her vitals spiking sharp on the screen. Heart rate jumping, neural signals flickering wild. Adam's breath caught, fingers hovering over overrides. Then the lines smoothed, stabilizing with a soft beep. He exhaled slow, wiping his brow. That's it. She's through the worst. The surgeons nodded his way, a quiet respect in their glances for his steady hand on the tech. From a council aide's perspective, scribbling notes in the boardroom's corner, the testimonies unfolded like a turning tide. She watched Selene step down, awed by the Varyan's courage, raw and unyielding, then caught Adam slipping in later, his quiet ingenuity in the evidence report shining through. Her pen paused, thoughts lingering on how one human's fixes had cracked open this mess, before she jotted more, the room's tension pulling her back. Nova stirred hours later in recovery, her silver eyes fluttering open to the medbay's soft glow. Her voice came weak but clear, cutting through the monitor hums. Mom, I can feel my toes. Selene, seated vigil by the bed, wept openly, pulling her daughter close in a fierce hug. Adam lingered at the door, a soft smile breaking through his guarded expression, the moment landing like a long-held breath released. Nova wiggled her fingers next, giggling faintly, and the room filled with a warmth that pushed back the Institute's cold edges. The council's verdict hit swift, forcing Helix to reform under their hammer, ethical oversight clamped tight, free treatment mandated for all affected patients, human and alien alike. Voss and her execs faced cuffs, the Institute's labs repurposed for real healing instead of schemes. Mira sealed the files with a nod to Adam. This changes things. Across systems. He shrugged it off. Just glad it's over. For her. But the ripple was bigger. Policies shifting to guard against such webs in the future. Rook faced his own reckoning in a side hearing, his betrayal logged but tempered by his turnaround in the siege. The sentence came light, community service hauling aid to colonies. He grumbled as cuffs clicked off, rubbing his wrists. Guess I'm a hero now. Weird. Who'd have thought? His sarcasm carried that weary edge. But he volunteered extra shifts, muttering about owing the kid as he prepped Wayfarer for legit runs. Adam caught him later, clapping his back. You earned it, Rook. Stick around. Rook smirked. Yeah, well, don't get sappy on me. Adam threw himself into adapting Helix's tech in a borrowed workshop, turning surgical bots into a streamlined chip removal system for other victims. Tools clinked under his hands, circuits soldering as engineers filtered in, the space buzzing with quiet innovation. He tested prototypes on dummies, lasers slicing precise, his focus narrowing the chaos of the past weeks into something useful. This'll help. Scale it up. Save more. A Varyan tech nodded approval, and Adam felt the pull of purpose settling in, like old soldier habits finding new ground. Selene got the invite to join the Ethics Council, her role set to shape interspecies policy across 20 colonies, bridging gaps with her first-hand scars. She accepted in a quiet call, her voice steady. I'll make sure no one else faces this. For good. Adam watched her pack notes, pride flickering unspoken between them. You'll knock 'em dead, Selene. They need someone like you. She smiled faintly, hand lingering on his arm. Couldn't have gotten here without you, partner. In the therapy room days later, sunlight streamed through windows overlooking the snowy Alps, casting warm patches on the floor. Nova gripped parallel bars, her legs shaky but moving, first steps tentative, laughter echoing as she wobbled forward. Selene and Adam stood ready, arms out. Look, I'm doing it. Her giggles filled the space, a miracle unfolding step by step. The Alps outside gleamed, a new dawn breaking over the peaks as the trio moved forward together, the shadows of Kargath fading behind. Sunlight filtered through New Geneva's red autumn trees, their leaves rustling in a crisp breeze as Adam, Selene, and Nova settled into their small home. The city, nestled in Earth's green valleys, hummed with a quiet rhythm far from Aurora Haven's amber glow. Inside, the walls held simple warmth. Hollow frames of stars, a toolbox in the corner, Nova's sketches taped up proudly. Adam adjusted a shelf, his hands steady from years of fixing things, while Selene unpacked a crate of Varyan artifacts, her movements graceful but grounded. Nova's hover wheelchair sat unused now, parked by the door like a relic of their fight. Across 3 star systems, the Kargath Syndicate crumbled, its leaders cuffed in raids that swept through their hidden docks. Miraquan's team seized assets, ships, credits, data vaults, redirecting them to reparations for victims. News feeds buzzed with the takedown, but in New Geneva, it was just background noise. Adam scrolled a datapad over coffee, muttering, guess they finally got what was coming. About time. Selene glanced over, stirring a pot of stew, her smile faint but real. Justice feels better when it's quiet, doesn't it? Rook, out in the colonies, threw himself into the Nova Foundation, retrofitting hover chairs for disabled alien kids. He worked from a cluttered hangar, tools clanging as he welded thrusters, his gruff voice carrying over comms to volunteers. Kids got a knack for changing people. Who'd have thought I'd end up here? He grumbled, but his hands moved with care, tweaking a chair's stabilizers for a young Varyan boy who beamed like Nova once did. Adam caught a vid call from him one evening, chuckling. You're going soft, Rook. Heroes don't suit you. Rook snorted. Yeah, well, don't spread it around. Selene's new role on the Interstellar Ethics Council kept her busy, her speeches blending Varyan poise with fierce advocacy. In hollow meetings across 20 colonies, she pushed for protections, laws to shield kids like Nova from corporate schemes. Her voice rang clear in one session. No child should be a pawn, human or not, We build trust, or we lose everything. The council reps nodded, some hesitant, others awed, as her words reshaped policy. Back home, she'd collapse on the couch, sharing quiet laughs with Adam over her diplomat voice. Think I scared him today? He grinned. Oh yeah, they're shaking in their fancy boots. Adam took a job as a biomechanical security engineer, designing systems to guard colonies against threats like Kargath. His workshop hummed with hollow schematics, fingers tracing shield arrays and drone patrols. Soldier skills turned to protection. He tested a prototype one morning, its sensors pinging clean. This'll keep the creeps out. Learned that lesson the hard way. A colleague nodded, impressed, as Adam tweaked the code, his focus sharp but eased by the home waiting at day's end. In their garden, Nova stood on the grass, the Alps looming distant under a clear sky. She gripped Selene's hand, then let go, taking 3 wobbly steps unaided. Her giggles broke free, bright and unstoppable. Look, I'm walking! She stumbled forward and Adam and Selene caught her, their arms a steady net. Adam chuckled, voice warm with the weight of their journey. We've come a long way, kid. Farther than I figured. Nova beamed, her silver eyes sparkling. Can I try again? Please? Selene knelt, brushing Nova's hair back, her gaze soft but fierce. Sometimes it only takes one good person to change the orbit of the world. Her eyes met Adam's, a quiet promise woven in. A family forged not by blood, but by choice. He nodded, words unneeded, as Nova steadied herself for another step. The grass soft under her bare feet. From a neighbor's perspective, watching through a window across the street, the trio in the garden seemed small against the vastness of Earth's curve above. The neighbor, a retired pilot, sipped tea, her thoughts drifting to stories of colony wars and unlikely heroes. She smiled faintly, seeing Nova's steps, and turned away, letting the moment be theirs. The stars above New Geneva twinkled, Earth's blue arc glowing steady, a canvas of unity for humans and Varyans alike. Adam lifted Nova onto his shoulders, her laughter ringing as he spun her gently. Selene joined in, her hand finding Adam's, their fingers lacing as the red trees swayed. Think we're doing all right, partner? She teased, voice light. He smirked. Yeah, not bad for a tech and a diplomat. Nova piped up, and me, I'm the adventurer. They laughed, the sound carrying into the evening air, a testament to what kindness, small, stubborn, human, could spark. The sky darkened, stars sharpening against the blue curve of Earth, and the trio stood together, a constellation of their own. The universe stretched vast around them, but here in this garden, their orbit held strong, proof that one act, one choice, could ripple through the stars, reshaping worlds without a sound.